welcome to the StephUp Podcast. I am your host, Stephanie Ann Webb. And on the podcast today, I have the lovely Julie Spark, who I met on Instagram, I think. Welcome, Julie.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, me too. I was just, you had me on your podcast last week, and now you're on
Absolutely.
mine. So, yay. And can you tell us a little bit about yourself, introduce yourself to the audience?
I live on a small island called Gili Air between Bali and Lombok, and I created a business called Slow, and then Slow Retreats, Slow Food and Yoga Festival, Flow. I wrote 3 books from slow to flow. So, and I have a travel agency also where I do tailor-made travel because Indonesia is, for me, the most beautiful country in the world. So I love to, yeah, just spend time on wellness and travel. I think that's my two most important things.
Yeah, ever since I met you online, you're always traveling to a new place. And I'm like,
I
well, where are
do.
you now?
I love to travel. It just gives me another vision on my life.
Mm,
I think outside of the box, and I think I work on my business, not in my business. And yeah, it just feels really good for my soul to move.
yeah. Well, and one thing that we were trying to decide on different topics, and I asked ChatGPT for titles, and we got from hustle to harmony, reclaiming your time and energy, because that is what you do and what
Yeah.
you write about. And so when you just said I work on my business, like is that do you because I've talked to various people where we talk about I don't feel like doing it in this moment. Some people say, well, you have to do that right now. It's like, actually, I don't. I will work on that. There are some times where I'm like, yeah, I got to do the admin work. Yeah, I got to do that. And I don't feel like it. And then one day, Julie, I'm just like, I feel like doing this today. Is that how you live?
Yes, absolutely. I think what is the most important is that you need to listen to the whispers of your soul, and you need to define what it is that you need, what it is that you want. And that's what we're meant to do on this planet. Everyone has that purpose. But with conditioning and what we should do and family and just externalities, we just get stuck in lives that aren't actually meant for us because we think we should, well, I should do that. I really should do that. But there's so many ways. I traveled the world for 7 years, fell in love with an island, and then became a solo entrepreneur overnight. And now I'm a serial entrepreneur with I don't know how many companies on a tiny island. There is not one way, you know what I mean? And then I was like, oh, I'm just gonna have my staff manage everything and travel the world. And it's great for business as well. So, and for my soul. So there's not one way. There's one way for you, but you must listen to your soul because it's whispering what you're meant to do. And you should do that. And whatever other people are saying, just say, thank you so much for that. It's nice to see your vision, and I will take it into consideration for the future. And then you write it on a little piece of paper, you put it in a box, and you do what you need to do.
Well, and that just came up because before we started recording, I was telling you how the past few days I've been stressed out and I started feeling depressed and very low vibration. And what I realized what was happening, I start crying and I'm like, ah! It's because there's so many voices that come at me as the more
Yeah,
people we meet, especially in the entrepreneurial spaces.
absolutely.
And they have really great intentions. They're like, hey, I found this website and I found this app and then blah, blah, blah. And they're wanting to share, they're wanting to help you. But I am like, I want simple. I cannot deal with all of these things. I don't want to do that. But I start feeling like, do I need to? I start questioning everything. And then when I realize I let go of, oh, wait, do I want to? No, I don't. I feel better and I realize I don't have to do that. And that's what you just said to me about say, well, thank you very much. And is
They
that
always want to help. They want to help,
you
you
want to
know?
help? Yes.
Yes, but then it's not always helpful.
And is that how you started recognizing like really what flows for you is listening to your body? Like, did you know that already? That it was your body
No, I
telling you
think
these things?
I got shaken upside down by the earthquake and then by COVID, and I hit my giant burnouts twice. And then I just realized, okay, this is not sustainable. Like I can't keep pushing myself to these levels of superhumanity, you know? I need to take time to fill my cup and to recharge and so that I remain balanced, and harmony is the most important. If I break, then everything breaks. So I take care of myself, I fill my cup, and then I can keep building my castle more and more and more, but I am in harmony. This is number one. I wake up, I go for my walk, I take my tea, I do my yoga, I do my meditation, I write, I do my gratitude practice, I read, and then I start my day. I am totally different than if I wake up, take my phone, and oh, I'm so stressed, let's start. It doesn't work.
Oh,
Doesn't work. Yeah,
yes.
it works. It's just going to be completely different.
Yeah. I used to do that. I lived in Toronto for a few years, and I would get up at the last minute, get ready, get on the subway, get to work. Although I had to kind of ease into work, I would make sure I'd get there early. I would have coworkers who came in and they're just like signing in and doing all the stuff for the very last minute, which to me was stressful. But I didn't really take that morning time because I just wanted to sleep into the last possible moment. So I was always stressed. Now, I was also still, I didn't understand a lot of what I still had within my body from my past, like all that unresolved trauma and whatever, right? I didn't understand that
Absolutely.
either. But I did not take those times to get up early and start doing things either. And when people start talking about that, I'm like, oh, but sleep, you know?
Absolutely. Sleep is important. But you know, like for example, one of my best friends, she has three kids, full-time job, husband, and a giant social life, right? Well, she tells me if I don't bike to work, I'm a disaster. So her thing is that, like, she wakes up, she takes care of the kids, she does all of that, tuck, 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 and then she bikes to work. But that 20 minutes on her bike, that's her mindfulness practice, right?
Mm.
And then she gets to work, she starts to work, and she's like, when I don't bike, it's a completely different story. It's everybody decides their way. Some people love to drive, you know, oh, I drive 15 minutes around my office because that's when I get my best ideas. You know, Einstein loves to paint, you know, like whoever, like it's mindfulness. It's the practice of mindfulness for the busy people because today we're all super busy. Even the kids, they got like calendars like the adults. Oh, on Tuesday I have piano and Wednesday. So yeah, there's no moments to pause anymore. And there is a lot of power in pause, in slowing down, which doesn't mean doing nothing or being lazy, but it means just being more efficient and filling your cup so that you can show up better, a better version of yourself.
And focusing what your energy goes towards, what you want to put your energy towards.
Absolutely. And stress, as you were saying, I'm actually writing a book, How to Stress. You know, like Thich Nhat Hanh, he writes all these tiny books that you read in
Yes.
2 hours, like How to Fight, which is how not to fight, How to Love, which is incredible. And I was like, I'm gonna write How to Stress, you know, because stress is obsolete, but it's so present. Like we wake up and we're like, and I need to do all of these things, and you're already stressing, but you can do all of these things without stressing.
Hmm.
Right? And then it's a tiny practice of just breathing, you know, just box breathing, for example, where you inhale four, you hold for four, and then you exhale for four. And you do this for 5 cycles, and it just brings you that peace and clarity and that pause, and your gut relaxes, and it changes everything. And it takes 3 minutes.
Is
Just
that
breathe.
when somebody asks you about how can I manage my stress? Is that like the first thing that you might talk to them about, the breathing?
Mm, breath work is great. Yes. I think if you want to add something quickly that you can practice in your car when you're doing your grocery shopping, when you're walking from A to B, like all these pause moments, breath work, I would say, yes, breathe. There's some very simple exercises that you can do in 5 minutes. And then when you do them and you observe how you feel after, you genuinely feel the entire system is just, the nervous system is recalibrating. You can do it dancing in the morning, you can sing. There's a huge power in emotional release with voice. There's a lot of different things. But yeah, breathing. People forget to breathe. How many times you're like, oh my God, I should breathe. And then you like take a
Yeah.
deep breath, just 5 deep breaths, and then you're like, oh, I feel much better.
We really do forget that. Until somebody reminds us, are you breathing? And you're like, yeah, of course I'm breathing. I'm alive. Like, no. Are you like conscientiously
Yes.
taking those deep breaths? And I've had panic attacks. And there was one time when I lived in Toronto and I forgot something and I had to go back and I was going to miss the bus and be late for work and I had to cross the street and I couldn't breathe. I was like and I didn't have a paper bag with me or anything. And over time, because people would say, "Oh, Stephanie, take a deep breath." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, whatever." But now I realize that's what was causing that panic, and I started getting in my head also catastrophizing everything, thinking, "Oh, this is the worst thing ever," and blah 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 blah, and I couldn't catch my breath. And so, just remembering that in those moments, like deep breath, it's okay.
Yeah, I think because we are on autopilot, constantly on autopilot, thinking about the next thing that we're going to do. And so we're not breathing, even just following the GPS without actually knowing how to go there. And you've been going there for a week every day, but you look at the phone, not at the road. And I mean, the paper bag, that's what it is, right? Take a bag and breathe. It's so people would breathe until the bag is flat and then exhale until the bag is, that's the same as the box breathing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's quite interesting. I go to this beautiful old cemetery where they have deer and geese, of course, they're always there. And during the day, it can get quite loud because there's lawnmowers and all these machines with people working. But just, it's so peaceful. And the other day, I was like on my phone, I was recording audio messages for people and just kind of like, oh, yeah, blah, blah. And then I stopped and I'm like, wait, what are you doing, Steph? You are here in this beautiful place with there's a lovely breeze. I could hear the cicadas and the wind through the trees. And I was on my phone thinking about
Mhm.
everything else. And
Yes.
I did a little video for my niece and I said, I am literally not in the present moment because I am on my phone doing all this stuff. And I said, it's that recognition. And that's when I'm like, I need to take time to just be here and appreciate because I came here to kind of de-stress a little bit.
In Japan, they call it forest bathing, and the doctors actually prescribe it. Just go into nature and be into nature. Forest bathing, go sit under a tree by a river, looking at a beautiful view and just be there. Forest bathing. It's beautiful, right?
That is
The
beautiful.
phones, it's actually really funny because today my phone data ran out because I've been 30 days in Portugal. And I decided not to take another 5G card until next week because I'm going to Malaga because I have, Wi-Fi at home and I have Wi-Fi at the office. So I'm like, and in between, I'm just not gonna have 5G. So every time I leave the office to go for a walk or, I don't have 5G. And it's very like, oh, I can't, oh, like, I realize how much I'm addicted to it, how much we
Mm.
are all addicted to it. Like every 10 minutes, there's not one moment I don't think about something I want to do on my phone.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to just not be online. Like when I go on the cruises, that's what I love the most because there's no reception there. Of course, we can take now Starlink if people need, but if you want to, I just disconnect. I just tell my staff, I'm going to be offline for 2 weeks. If you need me, call the captain. And it's amazing the digital detox, and then when you get out of that, this 2 week reset, the relationship you have towards your phone is changed. because we are all addicted to this genius idea that someone came up with. But yeah, it's altering a lot of things. And I think also I was talking to my circus friend, and he's like, there's so much less creativity and artists. And I'm like, yeah, because everyone's on their phone. Before we had all this time where you're like, oh, what am I going to do? I'm going to pick up a circus prop and play hula hoop, or I'm going to try this Japanese toy, or, like read a book. But now it's like, like I don't even want to be on my phone, but I'm on it.
Yeah. I will go. I would just, I'm not even bored, but I'm like, what's on Facebook right now? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And there's
Stephanie.
always new things. It's just like new, new, new. I think our attention span now is 4 seconds. It's like less than a goldfish.
And that's why they say like the reels keep changing the how you market on social media. They're like, you got to catch their attention. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. It's kind of wild, but I love that you said that. That's very helpful to remember this because and I will actually there are times when I do take my phone on a walk for my step counter, but I don't want
Hmm.
to. And there's times when I just put it in my pocket. I'm not no headphones. I'm like, no. Because I always walked around with headphones. I'm listening to something. I love learning on podcasts especially. But I realized not taking my headphones. I'm just gonna walk. And then it's the things that you can find beautiful. I will, especially in the fall. I love the fall. It's my favorite. But any other time, there's always something. But just looking at a leaf. And I know some people are like, Stephanie, what's so fascinating about a leaf? I'm like, no, you're not appreciating. This is beautiful, you know? And it's in those kind of things that you're just like, I don't need to care what's on YouTube right now or anything like that. So you said you have a circus friend? Tell me about that.
I have many, many circus friends. But I wanted to say something about the phone. I think it's a blessing and a curse, right?
Mhm.
Because I mean, you can work from anywhere on your phone now, which is great. But what is important is to not let it control you, right?
Mhm.
So have moments where you're like, I'm not going to be on my phone. For example, for me, I try not to be on my phone before 10 because that's like the zone of genius where I want to like connect, and then I try also not to be on my phone after 8 to like go to bed with a book, and so not wake up and not go to sleep with electronics, but it can be a nap or, but have those moments where you are in control and you're like, no, I'm not going to be on it. I think it's really important. Create time for self-practice and for just routine, morning routine and evening routine. I'm gonna put cream all over my body before I go to sleep, or coconut oil, and read a book and put an incense on, you know?
Yeah.
And of course, then don't be too strict with yourself, like the four agreements, do your best. If you do this 4 days a week, it's good, and then 3 days a week, you can be like, woohoo, today is treat day. I'm gonna be in the hammock and be on my phone for the next 2 hours as soon as I wake up. And it's fine.
I love
It's
that.
just like, yeah, don't be too strict on yourself. But
Because
yes, I have many circus friends, because I love circus because I think it's very complete. It's play, it's creativity. It works on the two sides of the brain. You meet people, you do performances. It's like and it's also physical education. So it's like really complete. And I met a lot of really good friends in the circus, yeah, community. They're really interesting people usually. And so we meet everywhere around the world. I like to do social circus. So after the earthquake, we went into the camps and we did circus with the children that were living in tents because everything was flat. And I had post-traumatic stress disorder from the earthquake, and
Mm.
playing hula hoop with these children, every smile healed me and healed my post-traumatic stress disorder. And I just connected on a very deep level. And so it's just become a healthy addiction, I guess, to do
Wow. That's
social
awesome.
service with the people. And so, yeah, I do this with friends. Then I meet them at, Boom Festival or at conventions like Pirates Retreat. And there's like private islands where people go to train for 5 days together. And yeah, it's nice.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah,
You
it's
have
really
so many fascinating experiences.
in
Where was the earthquake?
Lombok, the devastating earthquake of 2018.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 250,000 people displaced.
Oh my goodness. And you were in
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
Mm,
yes. Natural disasters are something you just have to learn to live with because it never goes away. It's always going to be with you.
right.
So yeah, all my heart and soul goes to all the people that
Mm.
are in national disaster because it's was something I've really experienced.
Mm-hmm. Hello, my lovelies. It's Steph here for a quick break. If you're enjoying the StephUp podcast and you want to support the show, you can buy me a coffee. Just check the link in the show notes or the description, or if you're watching on YouTube, you can scan the QR code that's literally on your screen right now. Thank you so much. Sending love to you all, and back to the show. How many places have you lived? Remember them
Too many.
all?
No, I know I traveled for 7 years horizontally and vertically around the world. Like I went by land from Brazil to Quebec in 4 years when I was 20, and now I'm 40. So, and I haven't really slowed down.
Yeah, you told me that you just, because you're from Belgium,
Yeah.
and you said
Maybe I
I'm
can
just
give you my top 10.
okay. Yes.
So I love Bolivia and Peru. Think it's incredible. Salares de Uyuni and Surlipes. Machu Picchu, incredible. I loved living in Mexico, but at the time, Tulum, there was only ruins on the beach. So it's changed a lot in 20 years. I think the nature in the United States was just out of this world, like Utah, Bryce, Zion, Arches, Rocky Mountains, of course, Grand Canyon, insane. I love Canada because a lot of my family live there on a lake. So I grew up there,
Mm-hmm.
Blue Sea Lake in Quebec. And Asia stole my heart. I think it was also because I had been traveling for 7 years. So I was ready to have a cupboard with my clothes in it, you know. And then I found this tiny Bali is so beautiful. It's paradise on earth. It's super spiritual. It gave me a lot of answers and a lot of challenges on a transformation level. And Ubud really healed me like the last 10 years, multiple times. But my home is on the ocean. I fell in love with Gili Air because of the no cars. The locals are so kind. They have so much heart. They welcomed me into the family. I think that's what we're looking for, right?
Mm-hmm.
A community where we feel like we belong. And then over the last 16 years, it's changed a lot. So I run around the island in 30 minutes. Yeah. So it's really small.
Really? Wow.
So I was like, I need to move. So now I venture out. I'm there 6 to 8 months a year and then I travel. But then I went to Australia, which for me is
Mm.
perfection. But I didn't want to travel anymore. Philippines is insane. I loved it with all my heart, but the alcohol is too cheap. I was like, if I stay there, I'm gonna become an alcoholic. I was like, I'm gonna go back to Indonesia. So so I stayed in Indonesia, but then I was like, I don't want to travel. Like I want to travel to another home, right?
Yeah.
So Koh Phangan really for me has everything I love. And then Japan stole my heart this year. So
Mm.
the next 2 years, I'm just gonna be between Thailand, Japan, and Indonesia. For me, Asia brings peace to my soul. I like who I am there. The cost of living is super honest, and the people are shanti, peaceful. So Asia stole my heart. I went to India as well. So it's intense, beautiful. I loved it. But for me, safety is paramount.
Mm.
And I feel safe in Indonesia, in Thailand, and in Japan. I feel very safe.
Yeah. That's good. That's awesome. You must, I mean, you should write a book, or have you written a book about the different
Yeah.
experiences?
Here's on self-development. It's more like uh, lifestyle, intimacy, and investment. So I work on myself and my health. I work on creating my own business and breaking free of the matrix, and then my relationships with others. conscious communication, nonviolent communication, attachment styles, tantra,
That's
breath,
beautiful.
sound, and movement. Everything the nervous system needs to recalibrate and slow down.
Hmm. And we definitely need that in North America.
Yeah. Everyone
Like,
needs that. Even
yeah.
me, a tiny island, I made this huge business and I burned out twice. So I was like, okay, I need to like change my ingredients.
So you must have this just play with life kind of attitude, right? You're just like, because I have a friend, she's always reminding me, Steph, let's just play. That's what we're
Yes.
here for. And I forget that at times because I can get very intense about things. And I'm like, I hold on and I'm like, it has to work this way. And then I realize, oh, you're attaching yourself to it. It's just like play. And she's a great reminder
Yes.
for me. So it sounds like you're so used to just like
I'm
playing and
always
just
playing.
having fun.
Always.
And
There's not one day where I don't have a red nose on my nose and I'm not joking. And in the most important meetings,
oh,
I'm in
like
my business
literally a
with,
clown nose, not like sunburn.
no, like a proper clown nose. I would do
Really?
achoo. And then I'll wake up with a red nose, and see how people react or take off my shoes and go to a giant. Eh, I had actually a podcast with one of my dear friends yesterday, sister, who is a hula hoop teacher and an embodiment coach. And we were talking about play. I think play is creativity, it's lightness, it's thinking differently about things, and it activates parts of our brain, and especially it brings our inner child back to life. I think now we don't have time to play, we must be serious. But the fact that you play, your brain is going to work much better. It's like scientifically proved. Like it's something
Yeah.
about the prefrontal cortex. I'm not a scientist, but my dad is, and apparently that's good. So it's about activating these things. The brain is a muscle. So yeah, you can go to the gym and lift some weights. Great if it works for you. I prefer to play.
Yeah. And I think at times we get so caught up in like, I'm an adult and I can't play and have I have a little fairy garden that I play with and I make
Yes.
scenarios. I don't know if you've seen that. And some people might go, oh, blah, blah, blah. But I don't care because it's fun and it makes me happy to just do that.
Yes. It's also what is good about play is there is no goal.
Yeah.
There's
It's
no
just
goal. It's just play. So coloring in, building a sandcastle for my 40th birthday. That was my wish, a sandcastle that's bigger than me. So we have to do it 3 times because the tide kept coming in and eating it. But we had the best time the whole day. We were like thinking about, okay, bigger than you, but then how do we go? Like how, and then it was so good, the thinking, and then okay, how are we gonna? And then we made all these windows and we found all these shelves and people were bringing things, and
oh,
then we made these bridges with like bamboo. It was amazing.
that is so
A
neat. And then
total waste of my time for other people, but for me, that was my wish. And it was the best.
you said other people were coming and bringing seashells and
Yes.
stuff. Like it's
And
the
the
sense of
children
community,
came,
right?
and my friends were like, first they were like, what is she doing? And then they were like, let's bring her some tools. And then they brought me some tools. And because they were like, oh, you're like fully invested.
Oh,
I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do this for the next 5 hours. Like, it's gonna be a real
that's
castle.
awesome.
It was so much
Also,
fun.
you have a poster behind you. And for
Yes.
anyone just listening on audio, it says think outside the box and it has the XOXO, but it has the line going through two of the boxes in the XO tic-tac-toe going to the box that's the X at the think outside the box. And I love that.
Yes.
Literally outside the box.
Color outside the lines.
Yes. That's so I've never seen it look like that before.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's how we also, when you start to play, I've noticed when, um, like I'll say to somebody, I don't know yet. Like I just need time away, right? And I go and I just do something silly and then there's an idea. There's the solution. There's whatever, right?
Yeah, the brain works. So you have hyper focus. Okay, I'm going to do my accounting. I'm going to go into a box, put everything off, and just do this, right? Or I'm going to write this article, or I'm going to write this job description, right? But then you have the scatter focus. And for that, some people drive, some people, but it's like the brain goes everywhere and connecting dots,
Yeah.
And for that, play is great.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
that's how you find your best ideas because it's freedom,
Hmm.
and we need freedom.
We do. Definitely.
We've been put in so many boxes.
I know. And now it's how we learn how to uncover ourselves, kind of getting out of the box to find more of who we are and what works for us.
Yes. And what works for you is not going to be what works for me or for my father or my grandfather everyone is
Hmm.
unique. That's the beauty of it,
It
to
really is.
celebrate those differences.
I love that. So when people talk about, I sometimes we get so stuck in the circumstances of where we're at. And they're like, I can't change the circumstance right now, but we can change how we view it. And so
Yes.
how do you, if you were to talk to somebody who's kind of struggling with that right now, um, and you had any kind of suggestions or words of wisdom to offer them,
Yes,
how to
of
reclaim
course.
themselves?
It's all about perception, right? So I think I posted that this week where there's a bird flying through the sky by itself, and then one person's looking at it and thinks loneliness, and the other person's looking and thinks freedom. So, and it's that very famous six, where if you're looking at it, it's a nine. When I'm looking at it, it's a six, right? And I use this all the time with my brother, who is my business partner and like the person I talk the most with on the planet and my favorite human as well. But we are completely different. We never have the same perception, never. So it can be very frustrating, and you can be frustrated all the time, or you can be like, okay, I see a nine, but explain to me your six, and practice empathic listening where you're not answering. So I'm going to let you talk for 3 minutes, and then I'm going to talk for 3 minutes. No one's reacting. Yes. Then we're going to reflect, and tomorrow we're going to talk again and decide. So he talks, I listen. I talk, he listens. We don't take any decisions. We sleep on it. And the next day, you will have that perception difference. You will be like, you'll connect the dots. And then usually it's like, actually, you're right. Let's do that. Or what about that? See,
Oh, I love
and
that.
it's about being constructive in your communication. Most people listen to reply, not to understand. Not my quote,
Mm.
but I think it's Anne Bonny something. Um, and that's really true, really true.
Yeah.
So just remember, again, people are trying to do their best always, but within their best, what is your perception and what's your need?
Mm.
And listen to that in your heart, in your gut. You already know. Nobody needs to tell you. You already know. So just do that.
That's beautiful. And very, very helpful. Always a great reminder whenever we kind of get stuck in that. There, there are so many times where I'm realizing, okay, just sit, listen to what this person's saying, but I'm kind of emotionally feeling like, oh no, blah 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 blah, and I start fighting, and then I realize,
Reaction.
wait, oh,
Yes. Oh, yes. Let me write that down. And then you like, okay.
oh, that's a good thing, like
Let me
writing it
write that
down to,
down. Yeah. Because people need to be validated and heard, right? Otherwise, they're going to be like, you're not listening. And then you're going to create the reaction anyway. Yes, yes. Let me write that down. And then you write it down. And then you close the book. And then the next day you can still decide what you're going to do with it.
yeah, and that's
It's
another
important to
reminder.
hear people out.
Sorry, can you say that again?
It's important to hear people out.
Yes.
But doesn't mean you have to do it.
Right.
You can, but it's up to you to decide.
And that's another reminder, like about the phone, because people are like telling me, and I'm like, But then when they do it, I get mad. So I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, but be
Yeah.
in reflection, not in reaction.
Yeah.
If you feel this thing triggering you and then you're like, whoa, I'm in reaction. Okay, what's triggering me? And then you can write that down and you can kind of decorticate it like an artichoke and be like, what's in there? Why is this triggering me so much? Like it's everything's a mirror. It's
Hmm.
teaching you something, right?
Yep. Absolutely. Well,
If
Julie,
you
this is,
listen,
sorry, can you say that again?
you
I interrupt.
listen.
We listen. Yeah. Sometimes it's like with the mic, I'm like, oh no, you're talking. I said something. And then I'm like,
If we listen, all of this I have too. Everything I share is because I've lived it, right?
yes. This was so much fun chatting with you, Julie. And
Always a
if
pleasure.
yeah, I'm so glad you and I finally met not in person, but on video
Yes.
because we've been
Well, one day
chatting
we will
back and
meet
forth.
in
One
person.
day.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to get into contact you, what's the best way?
Uh, Ask Julie.spark on Instagram or juliespark.com.
Perfect. And is there anything that you would like to add or words of wisdom you would like to leave with the listeners?
Slow down.
Yeah. That's it. Slow down. And we can.
Yeah.
Sometimes we feel like we get so stuck in because like life is so busy and blah blah, we have to do all this. But where can we start to find ways of doing that? Because we can.
Yeah.
We have to want to. Acknowledging it first, because sometimes you're not aware that you're too busy for healthy for you to live a more healthy life
Yes.
mentally just to get a little bit yeah,
We don't
slower.
always have to be on the run.
Right.
Absolutely. Thank you. You have such beautiful, bubbly energy. It's really feels great.
Thank you, Julie. And you're so calming and soothing and it's lovely. Like I could just I could imagine like just swinging on a hammock listening to your voice and like,
Yes.
oh, Julie's making me feel so calm. Oh, so lovely. Thank you so much for coming on the Step Up podcast.
My pleasure. Thank
Thank you
you.
guys for being here and listening. Sending love to you all. Bye.
Bye.